Francis, are you ready to give your talk? Francis, are you okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. Yes, I'm fine. I was just thinking what a long road it is to arrive here and to bow down to his feet.
True. These people have come from every corner of the world, and most of them have even had to cross.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking about them. I was actually thinking about myself. What a long road it's been.
A long road for all of us, brother. For all of us.
A long road.
Dennis, wake up. Father's at the second gate. Pretend you're working.
All right, Dennis, let's get this hay up there. Let's put it up before it hits the fourth gate. Oh, I really missed him this week.
Yeah, I missed him too. I know it's tough for him to be gone all week.
Boys, time to get cleaned up. I've got a roast in the oven, about done. Yeah. Oh, he's here.
Father, you cut your time between gates almost by half.
That's because I couldn't wait to tell you all the great news. Boys, dear, you know that I have always loved books. You know that, Francis. And the motto of the Brabazon family, going back to when the Brabazons were Earls in Ireland. That's right.
Yes, yes,
And
dear.
the motto?
Yes, I know. My life is devoted. But what did you say? Did you get a new job? Is that a higher salary? Oh, Percy, we can get the roof fixed.
Now wait. You're close. My devotion, as you all know, has been to literature. And an opportunity came up, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll all agree. Boys, we got a bookstore in Melbourne.
But who will run it? Did you hire someone?
Not quite, not yet. It doesn't bring in enough money. So for now, I'll be running it.
Does that mean we're all moving to Melbourne?
Well, I'd hate to lose the farm. I love the farm.
Hold on. For now, I'll need you all here to work the farm. We'll need the money, the cash it brings in.
But it brings in so little cash, Percy. Don't we have enough money in our savings to bring the family with you now?
It was a bargain. It was an absolutely tremendous bargain. But even at that, it took all of our savings. For now, I'll need you guys here to work the farm, just for now, mind you. And I'll visit as often as I can.
But Melbourne is over 200 miles away, Percy.
Didn't you leave some cash for us to run the farm?
Hey, the wheat harvest, the fall harvest is looking really good. Huh? Yeah, that should be enough to hold us through.
I've got some ideas about the farm. I've been thinking. It'll be all right. We can do it.
Oh, this roast is still in the oven.
Let's go eat. Come on.
What I've been thinking is we can go out and push the vineyards out to the side.
Francis, you did it to us again.
What do you mean again?
You don't remember. You were only 5. But I was 9. I loved London. I loved the city. I loved my school, my friends. There was so much going on. But look where he dragged us. He dragged us to this rock and rabbit farm in the middle of nowhere.
But I love the farm, Dennis. Don't you love the farm?
Oh, come on. What could you like about it?
Well, I like the quiet. And I like the sounds. I like the kookaburra in the morning, and I like the night sky. And I like to work. Don't you like to work, Dennis?
Well, sure I do. But there's nothing for us here. It's boring. Yeah, but you've got Rosie.
Hey, don't make fun of her. I'm gonna marry her someday and we'll have our own farm.
And besides, man, you've got so much to do. You've got poetry, you do piano, you make music. You know, what do I have? You know what I want to do, Francis? You know that old skiff we've got? I'm going to take that boat, I'm going to row it all the way down the Murray to Aubrey.
Dennis, there's a reason you named that boat the Joke. You're talking about 1,200 miles. Are you serious? Are you really thinking of doing that?
Yeah, I'm serious. But you'd be leaving all the farm work on your hands. I mean, look around you. It's too much work for one guy.
Hey, I'm small, but I'm strong. Come on, you want to wrestle again? No, seriously. I don't mind, and I know I can do it. You know, the challenge kind of excites me. The Walter family is thinking of selling off some parcels. And what we can do, if we pick those up over there, we can spread out into that little valley that's next door. Dennis? Dennis?
Yeah?
I guess you really do need to get away.
Yeah. My mind's already halfway down the Murray.
Well,
But I'll be back. And by then, maybe we'll have had some rain. And if anyone can bring some life to this place, it'd be you, Francis.
well, go on then. I'll be here when you get back.
The wheat, sweeping in a dream up to the golden sunset sky. The tops of the further hills are tipped with light. They slope down to the greenness of springs. The intermediate land rests after its deliverance from its burden. And the little house set on the edge of the dream. How cool are its walls, how its doorways sing of peace.
You know, he really did do it. Dennis took that little boat 1,200 miles all the way down to Albury. It even got written up in the Melbourne Herald. But the drought just went on, and it got harder and harder to sustain the farm. And the loneliness and isolation that Dennis had been feeling in that tiny little town began to get to me too. It was bloody hard to see the farm with the same hopeful eyes as before.
The township was a sprawl of loneliness. 8 houses without flowers to cover their nakedness. A bakery. A store that sent you an account 6 months after you paid it, hoping you hadn't kept the receipt. A butcher shop. The post office, with more eyes than is needed to sort a few letters, and a tongue long enough to reach everyone's ears in the district. The pub, where thirst and grouches were never quenched, and no dreams sprouted.
Dennis did come back and took up his share of the farm work, but the drought never ended. And hard as we tried, no amount of work could bring rain to that parched land. I never again thought of my dream of the vineyard and the little girl I was going to share it with. It was a dream in which the dreamer just stopped dreaming, so that another dream could be dreamed. I was 21 years old.
not just the line and the form, Francis, but the value of the light, the hidden motion beneath the stillness.
And what about color, Cliff? I'm fascinated by the interplay of emotion and color.
Yeah, very good. Stand still. The light will change soon. Don't move.
But what about Cezanne? You know, the brushwork. I just love it the way it explodes from the canvas. And I saw some Chagall's, you know? It was like his subconscious was exposed. I just love the colors.
And you're using colors really well in your own paintings, Francis. I especially like the last one. But just don't forget that the foundation of all art is drawing. And the foundation of my drawing is you standing still. So please, hold that pose a couple more minutes. The light is perfect right now.
Okay. You know, I've been thinking.
Do you do this when they're paying you to pose at the Art Institute? Anyways, okay. What have you been thinking?
Well, what I'm thinking is I'd like another smoke.
Great. Here, have one of mine.
Presently, the east, her last bright garment flung back across the sky, stands clean and naked before the rising sun.
Ooh, wow, where did that come from?
I wrote it a long time ago. It came to mind. I was looking at the light. You know, that's the thing you've been going on about.
How long have you been writing poetry?
I don't remember a time when I didn't write poetry. Back on the farm, you know, as much as I liked the work, I longed for an expression of beauty. And my father encouraged us.
Wait a minute. I thought your father made you work on the farm instead of going to high school. I'm surprised you could read, much less write.
Well, yes, but father always brought home books, and good literature too, not junk. And he took us to plays in Melbourne. I might have told you he was a theater critic. And father always encouraged my poetry.
Are there some other talents you have I don't know about?
Well, one time on the farm, my wagon went off the road, and I had to reload it all by myself. The bags were 186 pounds each.
Damn, and I thought you got those muscles from playing the piano.
Good evening, boys. I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd drop into the dump. Oh, dreary music. Can we please play something else?
Now that's a picture. But I think I'll head out.
Oh, hey, just a minute. Would it be out of your way to go by Hall's bookshop on the way home? Could you leave this off by the doorstop? They'll be closed by now.
Wait, don't tell me you're still stealing books.
Hey, is it stealing if I return them in perfect condition? Well, call it unauthorized borrowing. Cliff, I gotta read, and I can't afford any of these books, and the library doesn't carry any of them.
Okay, give me the books. Hey, it looks like party time at the dump. Maybe I'll stay a while.
Can't you come up with a better name for my apartment?
Cliff, give him a break. Take a look at what he's done with the decor.
All right, point well taken.
Hey, listen to this, guys, for a minute. Tell me what you think. Will the circle be unbroken by and by? There's a better what do you think? They call it country music. Just arrived.
Right? From? Where? How?
America.
But it's happened in America.
I like it.
Francis, is there any music you don't like?
Well, for me, any kind of art, whether it's music or writing, painting, dance, poetry, if it's a sincere expression of beauty, I like it. What is art but the search for truth through beauty?
Now look at this guy. He writes poetry, paints, plays piano, and now he's a philosopher.
See, honey? I told you the dump would be kicking tonight.
Yeah. Hey, see if y'all like this. We just got it at Sam's.
What's going on here? Do you know what time it is? You sound like a bunch of elephants stomping around. You know, you're not the only one who lives in this building, Mr. Brabazon. And, by the way, your rent is 3 days late.
Oh, gee, look at the party over there. Come on.
Honestly, Cliff, I'm doing everything I can to make ends meet. I model at the school. I take odd jobs when I can get them, all the time working on my writing and my painting and trying to make a go of that.
Francis, we ought to face up to it. The life of an artist is most often a life of poverty. What to do? We should both get real jobs and make a life for ourselves. Anyway, we should think about it. Okay, give me the books. I'll drop them off.
I sat up the whole night thinking about it. What do I really want from life? I could get a job, I could earn money, I could have all the comforts and conveniences, but then I wouldn't have any time for art. So I asked myself a question. At the end of my life, what would have given me the most satisfaction? To have comforts, conveniences, a nice life, or to have written one real poem or painted one real canvas? My answer? One poem or canvas, please.
Francis, I haven't seen you in almost a year. I'm so glad I ran into you. I've asked everyone. All the same story. No one has seen you. Where have you been hiding?
Well, that's just it, Cliff. I have been hiding. It's been a torturous year. I started pursuing color obsessively, trying to find out what was missing in my art. But it was a hole that just kept getting deeper and deeper.
That's terrible. What happened?
Well, I reached a point where months on end, there was no light at all.
You mean in your painting?
No, Cliff, in my whole life. Every 24 hours was just the same, day or night. It was just the same. I started rehearsing death every day. I started seeing humanity as vast processions of souls that just wind their way across the plains.
My God, why didn't you reach out to your friends?
Well, it's just not in my nature, I guess.
Oh, Francis, how did you get out of that then?
Well, let's just say for a brief period I gave in to my inherent tendency to artistic decadence.
I take it you're not talking about your painting.
Painting. I couldn't even lift up a brush. No, let's just say I went a little wild for a while, and let's leave it at that. But let me tell you what happened then, Cliff. At my lowest point, I realized that what was missing in my art had nothing to do with painting. What was missing was God.
Don't tell me you're going to become a monk.
No. I started going to Hall's bookshop and started pursuing reading spiritual texts. And I started reading Paramahansa Ramakrishna and his disciple Vivekananda. You ever hear of them, Claire?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but please, go on.
Well, it just was as if some new faculty of guidance was just awakened within me. At times I would go to the bookshop and it seemed like the selections I was making were being made for me. I would go in and I'd go up the stairs and I'd reach out, and one time I just picked up the 6 volumes of the Poet Saints of Maharashtra, wherever that is. And then I read St. John of the Cross, his Dark Night of the Soul, and my heart began to long for the divine.
Francis, you really surprised me. I've never seen this side of you.
It's a turning point for me, Cliff. I realized at my lowest point that it had been a kind of purging, and that had allowed me to see that the light I'm searching for has nothing to do with painting.
So, where do you go from here? What's next for you?
Well, I've been going to some meetings of like-minded souls.
Really? I think meditation is the key to spiritual progress.
Oh, no, I think it's good work that brings us closer.
Well, there has to be an inner transformation.
Yes, only with strict inner discipline.
But really, it's like the blind leading the blind. Nobody has any real answers. Now, I need to find someone who does.
Oh, Francis, you need to go to Camden and meet with the Baron.
down from the mountain, which the people in different ages have named different names, with the sun in my eyes and my heart polished like a mirror, clear as the waters of the lake. And everyone that I met was burnt with that sun. Each heart was mirroring his countenance and image. So I do not ask any more questions, because I myself was the question, and he, the light, was the answer. And when the answer fills the question, there is no more question, but only reality.
Well, Francis, what about those dishes? You wash, I'll dry.
Sheikh Moment. You remember the first time I met you? I'd heard so much about the Baron von Frankenberg, Sheikh Moment. I was frankly in a little bit of awe.
And you wanted to be my pupil right then and there. As I remember, you asked me to be a doctor of the soul and probe out any secrets you might be holding. But I had to test your mettle.
How so?
Early on, I could see you shared the same my dedication to doing everything properly, no matter how lofty or menial the task. Everything we do in life must be befitting our highest ideal. That was what I was looking for. There's a spot on this cup.
I always thought my search for truth would be through art.
Look in your own heart, said the Sufi, for the kingdom of God is within you. Come, sit, Francis. I want to show you something. These are the discourses of Meher Baba. I'd like you to read them. Francis, have a cup of tea. I'm so glad you could join me. So what did you think of those discourses?
These discourses are not the work of any ordinary man, no matter how keen his intellect. They speak of real spiritual authority. It's as if I've waited all my life for this. He's answered every question I've had, everything I've wanted to know in my heart. Who is he, Moment?
Well, I've received a letter from Mersha Martin. She is convinced that Meher Baba is a kutub, a perfect master.
A perfect master, a kutub. This is exciting. Moment, I knew he was spiritually advanced, but a kutub. This is amazing.
Yes, Francis, the Murshid has written to Meher Baba and asked him to be the Murshid of our Sufi order.
Really? What did he say?
First, he told her he would accept her as a student.
The Murshid, a student? A student?
Yes, and he also told her he would accept full responsibility for her order. In fact, she wants me to accompany her to meet Meher Baba. But in my heart, I cannot put anyone above Inayat Khan. He was my first Murshid and remains my master.
Moment. Even the name that Inayat Khan gave you, it means loyalty. Seems it really is part of your very nature. But I, however, would welcome the opportunity to meet this Meher Baba.
I'm glad to hear that. As you know, the merchant is old now, and so am I. I would like you to go to America in my stead, and I will pay all the expenses. Francis, I've taught you all I know, but I'm not the merchant, much less the Kutu. I don't know if he is that, but if he is...
Oh, then I must meet him.
Be the dear Francis that Sheikh Momin has told me so much about. Come, we have a bit of a drive to Marin where we have a community house for Murids. And this is Caliph Sam Lewis, who was a Murid under Hazrat Inayat Khan.
It's wonderful to meet you, Murshida Martin. It's a deep pleasure. And I'm honored to meet you too, Caliph Lewis.
Oh, please, just call me Sam. Merchant, have a seat. We need to rest. I'll get you bed.
How is your journey? I understand this is your first time traveling outside Australia.
Actually, I found it fascinating. I especially liked our stopover in Tahiti, as I'm very fond of Gauguin. But really, I'm relieved to finally be here.
Sheikh Momin told me of your interest in meeting Meher Baba.
Oh, I'm keenly interested in meeting him. But I was a little reluctant in speaking about Meher Baba to Sheikh Momin, knowing his deep allegiance to Inayat Khan.
Let me tell you a little bit about my relationship with Meher Baba. I first heard of him 4 years ago at a lecture given by Princess Nerina Machiavelli. I was very impressed. Over the next 2 years, I read everything that had been published by or about Meher Baba, guided by both the princess and another of his Western disciples, Elizabeth Patterson. I became convinced he is a Katub. Having arrived at this conclusion, I contacted him and asked him to lead our Sufi order.
Yes, Momin told me.
Then you must know he accepted me as his mere student and said he would take responsibility for our order.
Does that mean Meher Baba is the Murshid now?
Frankly, dear, I'm not exactly sure, and that's one reason I'm anxious to meet him.
Well, I'm deeply grateful for this opportunity to accompany you.
Right now, I'm not strong enough to go, but I'm hoping my health will improve. But in the meantime, I have a spiritual assignment for you.
So, Francis, how are you enjoying your spiritual assignment?
Well, it's not that different from the assignments Sheikh Momin used to give me. Actually, I've been doing hard physical labor all my life, and the truth is, I enjoy it.
Yeah? Well, what do you think of our Murshida?
Well, she's not a big talker, is she? I mean, that being said, she does impart much wisdom with few words. What do you think, Sam? Am I on the right track?
Regarding the Murshida, definitely. Her written lessons are succinct but right to the point, despite her weakened state.
Well, about those lessons, I've been spending every spare moment on them. It's kind of a full day here.
Yes, well, Francis, I can see that you're a hard worker and a conscientious student too. But you're caught up too much in your mind. Sufism has always involved dance and music, not just dry intellectual pursuit.
But I've always loved music, Sam.
Ah, well then I have a place I must take you. Why the long face?
Very sad news, colleague Bruce. Murshid has passed.
That is,
Might that mean that you'll be her successor?
that is sad news indeed. But no, I won't be her successor. She told me some time ago that Ivy Deuce would be named her successor. But thank you. So, Francis, you'll want to know that Murshida Martin told me some time ago that she was going to have Ivy Deuce go to India and meet Meher Baba and find out if he truly is the Kutub.
Well, where does that leave me, Sam? How am I going to get to meet Meher Baba?
Well, for now, Francis, you can just carry on with your spiritual assignment. It's up for Murshida Deuce to make the plan now, and I'm sure she and Murshida Martin had spoken about this. Now, don't forget what I said about too much dry intellectual pursuit.
Supposed to get me out of my intellectual pursuits.
There's a lot more to dance than you might understand, Francis.
It's colorful.
Oh, it's a lot more than that. Dance is primal. The rhythms take us to the essence of our being. It vitalizes our soul, awakens us, makes us more spiritual. Francis, hey, are you paying attention?
Hey, Sam, who's the girl? She lights up the room.
Oh, no, Francis, don't tell me.
Did you believe in love at first sight?
Oh, Francis, that's Shireen. She's an amazing woman. You know, she even flies her own small plane.
Really? She's a pilot?
Yes, but Francis, are you sure that you want to get involved? Think about your spiritual path.
Sam, just look at her. I already am involved.
Shireen is gone, but my heart rejected the empty word. A sea had risen up over its natural boundary. A wavelet of salt water had overflowed into the crystal lake. A glass full of wine, in being passed, had slipped, and its contents were spreading over the marble floor. The guest was saying goodbye, but the host did not hear him. He was remembering the music of a certain fountain in a place where he had spent some of his boyhood.
brings you to Beacon Hill so early?
Francis, what brings you to start work so early? I received a letter I wanted to share with you. I thought I'd catch you before the day started. Besides, I wanted to see how this place was coming along.
A letter? What is it?
It's to me, from one of Mayor Baba's disciples, a Dr. Abdul Ghani. Baba is pleased to note that in spite of obscure and unclear problems confronting you concerning Baba and his working, you have been directing Sufis in Australia to contact Baba directly, with love and blessings from Baba to you and to the Sufis around you.
Well, Mohammed, it seems that Mayor Baba is commending you for supporting those of us who want to follow him. It really is an extraordinary quality in you.
As you know, Francis, I have my doubts, but there's no reason my doubts should be your doubts.
Oh, don't downplay your generosity, Mohammed. You're financing the purchase of this land, the construction of this house that I'm building in hopes that one day Mayor Baba will visit in Australia. I really cannot thank you deeply enough.
I believe in my heart, Francis, that your love will someday bring him here. Francis, now that Mayor Baba has made you a sheikh, Now that Murshid Deuce has made you a sheikh, Murids will be learning from you, and even more so when I am gone. And I'm afraid that may be sooner than later.
What's the matter, Mohammed? You're looking a little peaked.
Probably nothing a cup of your tea wouldn't help. I don't know what you do to make it taste so good.
Coming right up.
And what do you do to that tea?
It's a trade secret. Actually, all I do is pay strict attention to the details. It's something I learned from you.
Well, now that Murshid Deuce has made you a sheikh, Murids will be learning from you. And even more so when I'm gone. And I'm afraid that may be sooner than later. I'm guessing that Murshid Deuce may be tapping you to lead the Sufi movement here in Australia. Maybe you should prepare for that eventuality, Francis.
Mohammed, I'm not prepared for that. It should be someone more spiritually advanced. Whatever can I say?
Well, transitions are always difficult. Some of us have had trouble with this. When Murshid Inayat Khan appointed Murshid Martin, someone accepted her and fell away. And when Murshid Martin appointed Murshid Deuce, the same thing happened. You could see the loyalty I still have for Inayat Khan. It will be difficult to unite the movement here, but you must try. And remember this, the messenger changes, but the message always remains the same.
How about that couple? Mohammed did die within the year, and sure enough, Murshid Deuce appointed me the head of the Sufi movement in Australia. I did my best, but I'm afraid people might have found me too controlling. I guess I was a bit strict. But all the while, in the back of my mind, I'm yearning for an opportunity to see Mayor Baba in the flesh. Finally, a cable arrived announcing his visit to the United States. I booked my ticket, and I arrived in New York City on January 10th, 1952.
New York was desert boots, comfortable slacks, and open neck shirt, and only donning the duffel coat when outside, as all buildings were
Centrally heated.
New York was late breakfast of wholemeal hotcakes with lemon syrup and honey.
And cups of black coffee.
New York was standing on the banks of the Hudson, and on a clear day, you couldn't see forever, but you could see New Jersey.
New York was Bartok pushing harmony to the limits, and Beethoven brooding over the cosmos.
New York was the Museum of Modern Art and the formal revelations of Juan Gris.
I found his architectonic renderings of blues and browns similar to Bach's architectonic renderings in simple, evocative tunes.
New York was bookstores with shelves brimming with arcane subjects.
Navajo religion.
Haitian painting.
Mexican folk culture.
The Tao of this and that.
New York with the latest in recorded music. Long play records that held an hour of music each.
Wow! I bought the lot.
New York was a whole new world of unexplored poetic endeavor.
Robert Frost.
Dylan Thomas.
W.H. Auden.
New York was Josh White, Blue Noting Frankie and Johnny.
And if you missed him uptown, you could catch him 2 nights later down in Greenwich Village.
New York was a cigarette-smoking Francis pumping iron in a gymnasium and breathing hard.
Oh, I live hard.
New York was the haven of Central Park and Spring Green, and lovers strolling, and somewhere somebody playing the flute.
New York was me stoking the boilers in the basement of the building where I lived till 4 a.m., but it gave me time to read and write, and then stoking the boilers again at 4 a.m., so that all the tenants had hot water for their morning bath.
New York was also Meher Baba unexpectedly changing his plans and moving the meeting date forward. Francis had to hurriedly pack and jump into Murshida Ivy Deuce's car. It was a 2-day drive to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Just be yourself. He will prompt you as to what needs to be said.
You'll just melt when you meet him, Sparky. When Mother and I met him in India, I couldn't say a word. And I just went to protect Mother from quacks.
What happened then?
Well, Baba looked at me and then spelled out on his alphabet board, innocent. And I just burst into tears.
Oh, you burst into tears.
And from that moment, Charmian was his.
Oh, Murshida Deuce, what do you remember?
Sparky, dear, I remember what I remember most is his eyes. I did not know that such eyes could exist. They had a quality that intrigued and tantalized me. Suddenly, I realized what that quality was. In his eyes, it was bliss.
Oh, Francis, I'm so excited. Francis! Francis!
The first time I met Sparky, something melted in my breast, and a light went in it and went right through me. This was a sensation like nothing else I had ever experienced. It was not desire, nor longing, nor desire for a girl. This was another person within me. We kept our love a secret, almost as if it was too precious to share with others. In New York, we took endless walks in Central Park, and I would read Sparky my latest poems.
Since the arrow of fortune's wheel turned my way, and dawn entered my heart, making an accommodation for the sun, I have become a gambler in the markets of this world, reckless in the festival of music, and shameless in regards to affairs of love. There is a fire in my skull, and music in the blood of my temples. My heart is a meeting place of pain, and my eyes wet mirrors of gratitude.
Baba says, now I have two Francises, Francis of Assisi and Francis Brabazon. Baba says, I've known you for ages, but you don't remember, do you?
No, Baba, I don't.
You will come to know it is true. But for now, sit back, be comfortable. You must know that I am within you. So if you feel like coughing, cough, for it means that I want to cough. Baba says, will you do anything I ask, Francis?
Yes, Baba.
Even if it costs you your life?
Yes, Baba.
Francis, I want to give the Australian Sufi work totally to Francis. He'll be directly under my supervision, and the both of you will need to become spiritually illumined merchants if you are to head the Australian Sufi order.
But Baba, I don't know
what to do.
When you say you know nothing, there is hope of knowing. There are three things that always hinder truth. First is temptation. Very, very few persons can overcome temptations. Temptations of money, fame, power, lust, and leadership are disastrous, very binding, and very few persons can escape them. Second, vagueness about things. And third, dishonesty. Francis, I want you to return to Australia as soon as possible, by July 10th at the latest. I want you to plant a rose garden in Australia for Baba.
Yes, Baba, I will do as you say. I have one question, whether I am to be solely devoted to God, or should I follow the path of married life?
Baba says we will see later. Now go.
Oh, Sparky. He emanated so much love. And he gave me an order. And he looked just like I thought a Sadhguru would look. A man who is nothing and everything at the same time. I'm supposed to go back to Australia and plant a rose garden for him.
A rose garden?
I believe what he means is I'm supposed to make a place for people to go and hear about him.
So you'll be leaving?
Baba said I should be in Australia by July 10th. That means I have to get on the next bus, go to New York, pack my things, get on the boat, and then go to Australia in order to arrive in time. Oh, Sparky, my heart is so full of love for Mayor Baba and for you, and now I have to leave you both. You cannot follow me, nor any one of yourselves, but I may perhaps be able to help you somewhat, as perhaps my intellectual basis is a bit more secure than yours. Baba has written to some of you and said that Francis will guide you to me. And I think what would be good guidance for us is to study the topic that is most central to Mayor Baba's teachings, the path of love. We will meet again in 1 month. Sparky, I feel your presence all day. What you have awakened in me, I cannot say, but between Mayor Baba and you, it is the truest expression of love I have ever felt. I cannot think of one of you without the other. Last night, I wrote a poem to you.
My beloved is a dictionary of beauty, in which every word has many subtle meanings. She is a textbook in the science of love, a roadmap of journeying, a timetable of arrival, and a companion of encouragement. She is the dawn which awakened me, and the sky which accommodates me in my journey, following the track of the sun. Her curls are the logic of my unreason, and in the clear light of her eyes, I seek annihilation. I thank my dawn, and my thank you is my kiss, and my kiss is my sigh, occasioned by the perfume of her beauty, the shining forth from the fragile line of her form, of the light of our sun.
Sparky, I await your response to my marriage proposal, but only if it is your own true wish and God's will. I want us to be as united outwardly as I feel we are inwardly.
Dear Francis, I felt deeply moved by your marriage proposal. At this stage of my life, however, I am not able to consider such a commitment. I hope you are doing well.
Was this all in my mind? Was our love just a vision I created? Were you not the light of God within me? Have I been a fool? I thought that I would find truth through art and beauty, but that just slipped from my hands. And then I thought I would find spiritual truth in Sufism, but I see I am no merchant. And then Sparky, you appeared as though God manifesting within me. But Mama, everything that is not you has been taken from me. It's only you. It's only you. It's only you.
Francis, it's so good to see you up and working.
What else would I be doing?
Well, I heard you've been doing nothing but sitting and staring at a wall for 2 weeks.
Well, I guess you could say I was a little down.
This has to be about that girl in America, doesn't it?
Cliff, you know me too well. But really, it's brought me to a new understanding of love. Really. I think that all love is just a projection. And that one person doesn't really love another person.
Oh, come on. Francis?
No. What I mean is that love is an inherent quality in every heart. And when we say another has caused us to love them, it's really a kind of falsehood. because that love for them originated within ourselves.
But where does that love come from? Oh, this has to be about God again, isn't it?
Well, when I met Meher Baba, it was an experience like no other. I felt a love deeper than any I'd ever felt in my life. And I thought that I would find that love personified in a woman, but now I see that marriage and family are not my path.
And your path is?
Well, since I met Baba, it's kindled a new spark of creativity in me. My poetry has just flowed effortlessly. I think Baba alone is my path.
Which means?
Well, I just got a cable.
Passage to more than India. Passage to the very heart fibers of my soul, to the soul of my soul, the eye of the sun who turns the earth and awakens each teeming day, whom I now met again, seated on a platform of Pune railway station, radiant and garlanded, receiving the tear-bright devotion of his devotees. I too, by some strange fortune, his sweet embrace. And so all through a day and a night and another day, the train wound on across dry earth, waiting the rains to bring its hidden greenness into crops and sustenance, bearing east God and his circle of workers and myself. And the song of light was sung by the disciples, the same song which the morning stars and these same men had sung in the beginning as they circled in joy around the first Christ on his first ascent on earth.
A year later, Baba again called Francis to India for what would become known as the 3 Incredible Weeks. Baba asked Francis to write a book and gave him the title, Stay with God.
Baba wants you to know that it was your love that drew him here to Beacon Hill. He says that the building of Beacon Hill has touched his heart. He's very happy that you are spreading his message of love and service. And he has some instructions for you regarding this. Yes, Baba, yes! Francis! Baba says, "Where is my book?"
I'm sorry, Baba. Yeah, I'll start on it right after you have left.
Baba says that will be satisfactory.
Francis,
What?
nothing. Francis, sounds a little like you're writing for the Melbourne Herald.
What's wrong with the Melbourne Herald?
Nothing, if you're only interested in who and what and when and where, but it's a tad dry.
Oh, a tad dry.
Oh, for God's sake, Francis, why don't you just say that a wonderful time was had by all?
I know, Ron. I know. I just can't find the right tone.
Francis, you're a poet. Why not sift all this through your poetic sensibility and see what comes out?
Wings. Wings. Wings towards the glaciers of Kailash, where the first fathers nourished the seed of God. And Shiva, gentle Ganga, and Parvati walked by streams of living heart. For Shiva was Jesus before him, and Parvati, his loveliness in the earth, as was Rama, as was Krishna, as was Abraham, as was Zarathustra, and Buddha, and Muhammad, God's avatars, and their loveliness, as is Baba.
Yes.
Sing, Baba, your descent on earth this time, your brightness in our night, your comfort in our separation. For it is my love's desire to compose on this book on this theme which you have set me. And to this task, my spirit spreads its wings.
Francis presented Stay With God to Mayor Baba in 1959. Baba had it read to him 3 times, stating that it would give life to his own book, God Speaks. Francis stayed in India, serving his master until 1969, when Mayor Baba dropped his physical form.
Francis, are you ready to give your talk? It's 9 o'clock. You've kept your appointment with God. Now Francis has some words to say to you all who have come from far and wide for Baba's darshan.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. I am amazed and filled with joy to discover that the beloved I have been serving for so many years is truly a mighty beloved. Of course, I have known all along that he was God. But there are so many gods. There is the God which people see in the shape of illusions such as a sunset, or a mountain view, or a symphony, or whose hand is seen in one's not getting caught in a rainstorm or obtaining a good job. No doubt a very comfortable and profitable God to have, but not a God to whom one would offer one's life. There is the God who rules the shining plains of consciousness, but sight of him would blind one. And the God who is beyond the plains is unknowable except by his own grace, and he is terribly careful to whom he gives that grace. But what a beloved our beloved is. What a beloved we have chosen to serve. Who but the beloved of beloveds could speak his word silently in your hearts and make you come from across the world to take his darshan, to bow down to him in your hearts? Such a thing has never happened before. I have been at mass darshan programs where tens of thousands came and bowed down to his man form. But to come thousands of miles, to bow down to him in one's heart, that is of an entirely different order of devotion. Why has beloved Baba given you people this extraordinary privilege? Because he required the few to do what the many, what everyone must eventually do, journey across the world of illusion to take darshan of him in their hearts. But you also have your parts to play in this grand journey you have begun. You must not leave it all to your beloved. For every step the lover takes to the beloved, the lover must take 10 to the lover. The other way around. For every step the lover takes to the beloved, no, it's the other way around. For every step the lover takes to the beloved takes 10 to the lover. But the lover must continually take that one step. Be prepared for a long journey to have the beloved's real darshan. But it may only take a mere 700 years to reach his door and bow down to him for the last time and merge in him forever. Avatar.